get no recess. Before things fall apart and the riot starts. Even in chutney, I'll tell them go. Make it sooner than later. To protect the future, please. For the sake of we children and the next generation. Go. To safeguard our image. Before Griffith cause more damage. Like a dog with fleas and down on the knees. And I'm begging, go now. They try to stick me with rage me. They have more trick than Houdini. Streams turn into rivers, then into seas. That's why I'm singing, go now. Please, Mrs. Kamla, take me.
91.5 Real FM got you covered.
You tell me candid, they too wicked, far too crooked. That is the frequent comment I hear. Too one-sided, underhanded, can't be trusted. This is the opinion, ear to ear. For their own abuses, they keep making excuses. Housing crack up over. They unleash the lawyer, set up an inquiry, just to get Kid Rowley. But they wouldn't sue the false paper screw. I don't need talk close to tell them go. Hurry, pack up your bundle now. Stop fooling the people. The country taking and beating. So me plea are repeating. Go. They're like a natural disaster. Now. 10 times worse than Ebola. Like a dog with fleas and tongue on the knees. And I'm begging, go now. We and I did one week. Prophesy to the country. Streams turn into rivers, then into seas. Is why I'm singing, go now. This is my humble petition. Announce the date for election. Go now, please. Accidental, detrimental, could be lethal. Are you willing to take that chance? Much too seedy, they too greedy, eyes too beady. Honeymoon end before the romance. We expect corruption, but now without check or interruption. That a few might stuff the pocket, but not racket by the pocket. From the constant comments, we get no recess. Before things fall apart and the riot starts. Even in chutney, I'll tell them go. Make it sooner than later. To protect the future, please. For the sake of we children.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Independent Talk. Good afternoon to Maria Marcel, Vanessa Lagui, Wallan Walcott on Facebook, Michelle Alexander, Gemma Warwood, Cynthia Bartholomew, Louisa Williams, Vintrice. I hope I got your name right. Good afternoon to you guys. Angie's Henry, Alban Harris, Kathleen Knights. Miss Ferguson, good afternoon to you as well. Diligwe, Devon.
Bless. Yeah, we had a big one.
Nikki. Daisy, you have to link me. Christine.
Chimney Hill.
Chimney Hill. And Harvey.
Patrick Outley, good afternoon. Scoops Daily
Mr.
Court.
Watts.
Good afternoon, Mr. Watts.
The youths on the block in the marquee, right by the the court.
Yeah.
Julie Dubois.
Bless afternoon.
Yes, Ms. Dubois.
And Andrew's feet. Lynn Harley Douglas. Mimi. Bigger food. I see you on the circular.
Bigger food.
Bigger food on circular number 5.
Yeah. Bigger.
Circular number 5.
Of 2024. Bigger.
A blessed evening to
Blessed
all.
evening to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Devon, how you doing?
Well, not too bad, you know.
But Devon, you caused commotion, you know.
Yeah, well.
Because you was here last Sunday and you challenged the RGPF and they take chain up and they're going to try to have a press conference.
They take chain up.
Yeah, they take train up and they try to go and have a press conference. And well, shitty the fan.
Yeah, they tried, but you know, I think that the truth was spoken.
The truth instead of what?
Well, well, at least how the police officers basically felt. Not basically sharing the information that they had to, but you could see the expression on their face that they are not content with what they are working with. You know,
But it's them to say.
yeah, but I don't know why. And look at who is in the spotlight. Vanny again. You know, and these are the ones.
Chatters on the street say Vanny looking to throw in the towel.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because they go past Vanny and Vanny feel they don't conform him is a serious thing. Yeah. So that's why we are chlorophyll suit in
the thing, yeah. However, though, I look at it on the other side. Not conforming Vanny could be a move to make him the top cop, you know. Have you ever think of that?
Well, he's the best in the lot up there.
Yeah. I mean,
if you had to choose, if you tell me with a gun to my head, and they say choose one, I choose in Vanny.
Yeah, I would choose Vanny. I mean, we know that we have one there in the police force that is competent and the most qualified to be there, but they wouldn't give him, you know, because of the political interference. But Vanny, according to if they tell me what, choose one of your life, you know, you're going with Vanny, you know.
Real talk.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Pierre, and to all the members of the CID, and so another matter, all the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
They're trying.
Yeah, you're trying.
Because Grenada is my constituency, Igwe. Real FM is my parish. Me and Devon alongside with Igwe, two lazy people's spokespersons. We always blessed and protected by the ancient of days. And we purpose is to give people the facts. What you do with the facts is a matter entirely for you. They say for lack of knowledge, the people perish. Yeah. So we don't want the people perish. So we giving them information. And what they do with the information is a matter entirely for them. We're here to advocate for truth and justice, even when it don't affect us directly. We advocate for the weak, the meek, the underprivileged and the marginalized, the destitute and the vulnerable, and them they don't like because they cannot do it for themselves. We are on Real FM, Real Media, New Media. We're here to make those who are comfortable with what the NDC is doing very uncomfortable. And to those who are hurting and uncomfortable with the actions of this NDC government, we're here to make them comfortable with hope, information and facts. Devon, where shame is absent, anything could happen. You hear the latest what they're doing, the people that in Lac Alum, they want money for the land?
Well, I just...
These guys and every time I say no, that is it.
Something else.
They reach the bottom.
They dig in. They dig in, Master Carl. I don't know what they're digging for. And they dig in the backs of poor people.
And they just continue to tell lies.
I mean, I cannot understand this new scenario. Minister of Health, of Housing, know that we're coming after you. You have to give explanation to the nation about what is going on with the housing situation in Lac Alum. We are understanding, right, that the government, right, through you and your ministry, right, is about to basically charge the persons for the land they are living on. I mean, what else would you do to the most vulnerable of our people? I don't understand. But you know what? We are here, New Media, Real Media, and we are here to speak the truth, to share information, and to ensure that as a people, right, we do what is necessary to rid this country, right, of this group of corrupt politicians.
We must send out some greetings to, I'll never get it right, Ann Thomas, who is celebrating 101 years today.
Wow.
Greetings from the Holy Spirit family of Paraclete.
Huh?
May God grant her many, many more years to come.
Wow. Centurion.
Lots of love.
Happy birthday.
Day.
Happy birthday.
Birthday
To you.
Yes, guys.
Yes, Devon. We have a lot of things to unpack. But first, Devon, I must do something here with you.
And please like and share. All right?
Devon, we ask the question, whose interest would Deacon Mitchell serve since he offered himself into politics? And that's something that keep reoccurring. Mr. Pierre always asks who sent him. But I did some digging, Devon, and I came to this conclusion. Somebody planted this guy. You know, when they plant somebody, well, let me just break it down. A plant is a person secretly in league with another person or outside organization while pretending to be neutral or part of the organization in which they are planted, like how Deacon Mitchell is planted in the NDC. So listen, because when we speak here, Devon, we have a receipt. So we go say so many things that make us come to that conclusion. He tell us information he don't need to know.
Yes.
Because he don't country. He could have walked away from the country without empathy and go in Guyana when the nation was in crisis. International crisis, because all the international media houses was onto the story, but he say nothing. He hands on his lip, he mouth zip. Up to now, he don't say nothing. He could have comfortably called people hungry mouth and beggy, and they go buy you. And that statement gets you have to line up that clip, because we have to deal with one Lennox Andrew, and we have to ask him some question about beggy.
My parliamentarian?
Yeah, and they go buy you. And you got to ask him about GDP and if he get money in GDP and how much and what was the purpose. We go get to him and that later on. The Prime Minister could have been St. Lucia talking how he talks. So we want to find out who paid for the rally and the big fete, causing him to behave so. He could have caused people to cuss in a rally. They could have encouraged people to play jab. And these are the things that when you plant people, when he in Grenada, Devon, he attends cabinet by Zoom.
Wow.
Because the other cabinet, he and the guy what he threw the police under the bus for revoking, and the one what is who is the chairman in GDB?
I'm not too
Some Andrea person.
Oh, Andrea Sen Bernard.
And one in America. They say that the real cabinet for them. And the rest is the shadow cabinet, the commoners as the one in Govsey. So these things could have happened when somebody's planted, they're not attached. They could uproot and go anytime. So that is the situation. They plan this guy. So that's why he behaving like that.
So in other words, every time cabinet meets, himself and the three other top cabinet officials.
No, I'm not saying that. He attends cabinet here sometimes, even when he in the state by Zoom.
By Zoom.
I don't say nothing else. But he must go in a meeting and them overseas what he could attend by Zoom. So he could attend the meeting and overseas by Zoom, but he must go. When he did here, he don't must go. He don't must go.
Yeah.
So I don't know who maybe sitting on his side when he taking it by Zoom and advising him. So that's why we go get into beggy, hungry mouth and who they buy.
Yes, we have to.
You got a call on the line?
Yep.
Yeah, you take it.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Master Carl Igwe, my good friend. Devon, I have a ball to bowl you. I want to bowl you a bouncer.
Well,
If you could play cricket, you got to duck. And if you can't play, you will knock you out.
well, try our long hands. So, and I bat in my hands.
All right, you bat in your hand.
Yeah.
I hope you could defend well. My point here is, gentlemen, I don't know if I will touch it yet. I just want to make that point. Poor people in this country will suffer under the NDC. They will eat the bread that the devil need under the NDC. Reason for that. when you have people fighting to make their own living, to pay their own bill and send their children to school, in some cases, they assist with other families to get to earn a bread. And you decide to bulldoze them and get rid of them. It is time for demonstration. It is time to put things on the ground. They say foot on the ground. This time is not foot.
Boots.
Shoes has to be on the ground. We have to do work to demonstrate against this atrocity of bulldozing people, whether they get permission, whether not they didn't get permission, but they are making a living. And I think it's only poor people that could afford to go and sell things on the side of the road, because the rich man ain't going and sell things on the side of the road to turn hand to send the children to school. And I am looking at it in that vein. What they should do, in my opinion, is to allow these people, upgrade these people place and make it look habitable, or help them to improve on it so that they can do better. And my opinion is that. And I think what they're doing is real bad.
Now is the time we can sit down.
That's right. We cannot let that slide and go down the road as some other thing. We have to speak out against it. We have to walk against it. We have to talk about it and continue to beat them. Like the Samora thing, they didn't know they wanted to. I believe they all know that was going to happen. Like the promise they make, all Imani is going to be prominent. You know, these are issues that we all has to echo. And I believe that going forward, because they just start, a lot of people is going to be affected real bad. More robbery, more crime will be committed in this country. And as a result of that, because of the hardship that we are facing and people are facing, these are things we're going to experience in Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik. Gentlemen, continue the good works, and I will call, if I get the privilege later on, with another and echoing another sentiment from St. David.
All right, caller.
All right, my friend. Have a wonderful evening.
You have another one, Igwe?
I don't want on the WhatsApp, but
I take it.
I don't. The landline hot.
I take it.
Lost it. Then come back again.
You know, the caller made a point. I was looking at
You like it?
Let's take the call.
I have one on the WhatsApp. Hello.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing there, bud?
Yes, not too bad, my friend.
Yes, Master Colin Igwe. Yes. As I was listening to the last caller, they talking about demonstration. It's something you gotta be careful with, because what I'm saying, somebody gotta start something who get hurt. And if they break down and smash down the people shot what they're making $1 from, they are the first one to show some resistance. They are the first one to show some resistance, and then they'll get addition. But if those things happening to me and you, and we just take it with a smile and walk away, it's because we the people who put them there with shame. So I don't need to start a challenge for you. You need to start a challenge, and then I'll back you up. If so. Okay, thank you.
All right, my friend. Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I have one on the landline.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let me say good afternoon to all of you, and of course to your listeners this afternoon.
Hey, MP?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good
Afternoon,
afternoon. It's my
afternoon.
pleasure
and
to
and
join you
welcome.
this afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm actually calling to express a concern and to make a recommendation. But before doing so, having listened to the last caller, I really do want to add my voice to the subject.
Yes.
And that has to do with the demolition drive that is currently taking place. Now, I'm not going to sit here and to say that there might not be a need based on the probably the vision, the plans of the government and what their intention is. I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. So I'm not going to debate that. But what I want to say very clearly this afternoon that the issue of timing must be considered. And not just the issue of timing, the how you do what you do. And is there another way that you could do it to get the same result? So the caller made reference to, in some cases, you may want to upgrade and improve what is there. But I want to focus more on the subject of timing. Because at a time when people are losing jobs, at a time when the economic situation is of great concern, not just to ordinary people, but to business people as well. People in business, they can tell you what is happening. At a time when we are still looking on at the effects and likely future effects of the increase in minimum wage, what an action to take at this time. And so I am very concerned that there is this um, move to demolish those structures that ordinary people who want to make an honest living would be further affected. So they're already affected. They affected by the decrease in economic activities. They're affected by family members who would have lost their jobs. They're affected by slow business, right? They're affected by decrease in sales. They are. And on top of that, you are making it now impossible for some of them to earn an honest dollar. And I am very concerned as to what might be driving that kind of behavior. We hear it all the time that this administration seems to have something personal against people who are poor, people who are vulnerable, people who are in need, people who are struggling to make an honest living. And when you see these actions, it is very difficult not to agree, right? It is very difficult not to agree. So I'm appealing and taking this opportunity quickly to appeal to the administration to go back to the drawing board with this plan. Sometimes we have to cut egos down. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in the position, and I always like to speak about empathy, and we use the word so loosely sometimes. And I always like to differentiate between the cognitive and the compassionate. So the cognitive, let's put that aside. Go back to the drawing board with compassionate empathy and to ask ourselves, or them ask themselves, is there another way that we can do this so that less people are affected? And even those who are affected, that we have options and other plans in place. So, okay, you must move from here, but this is where you can go. This is how we can support you to move to this next location. This is what we can give to you because, and you know, as I'm thinking about this right now, I'm actually remembering a situation from many years ago where people had to move from a particular location because of a major developmental activity that was to take place. Now, what we are seeing now has nothing to do with that. But even then, alternatives were provided. Financial support was provided, right? And I'm appealing. This is not the Grenadian way of doing things. There's another way that we do this, right? And what I've seen, I am extremely concerned. But let me move quickly before you ask me to.
No, man, go on, man.
But
Let me
I
let me
want to
just
I want to
quickly
ask you
get point. Go ahead.
before you there. I want to ask you there are times when issues come up and we get some vague answers, especially from this government. What is the present situation with the allocation for the constituencies, both what is allowed through for the parliamentarians every month and the contribution that was supposed to be given to the MPs for the celebration? Can you give us an idea as to what is up with that?
So I can answer this in one sentence to say that nothing has changed as it relates to our receipt of any funds to date. That's probably the simplest way of me putting it. Yeah. Absolutely nothing has changed as it relates to our receipt of these funds on the opposition side, right? I have been advised that activities are taking place to make it possible that we would receive it, but I want to confirm, as of the date, we have not yet received anything, right? But I want to raise another concern that it's really, really bothering me, and that is actually the reason I called this afternoon. This one is really, really plain, and I'm very disturbed about it. I have been observing, looking at a couple of videos over the past week. And what concerns me most is that several incidences that are so very similar in description and nature of civilians, if not assaulting police officers, if not distracting and causing disruption as it relates to police officers making arrests. I've seen in one video where obscenities taken to police officers in the midst of an attempt to make an arrest. And I'm saying I'm disturbed at the frequency in which those videos are coming. And so this afternoon, I want to make an appeal to all Grenadians who might be listening to your program. Because we sometimes look at lookers and see what is happening, almost a chair on like it's intercall, right? We are on a slippery slope. And this is not a laughing matter. It is not a joking matter. It's a very serious and dangerous situation that we are in. And I believe every single Grenadian, regardless of your color, regardless of your political or religious affiliation, every single Grenadian needs to speak about this issue and to do everything possible to reverse this situation. Right? I am extremely concerned. The repercussions of this, I don't think we are for this as a nation.
MP,
now,
just before you go on, based on what you just said, what is the correlation between this and the issue of leadership in Grenada right now?
Well, I would put it this way, and I've always put it this way when it comes to anything and leadership, right? Any situation that unfolds. At the end of the day, leadership is critical. And I always refer to a quotation that everything rises and falls on that, right? So you're absolutely right. I would agree with you. As a matter of fact, having studied this subject intensely, I would agree with you that leadership plays a critical role. And we are speaking about leadership from the highest level come down. Because at the end of the day, and you probably would have heard me say this before, even if I delegate my responsibility, I remain accountable.
Yes.
Even if, so I and this seems to be something, I've heard a statement made relating to another subject matter, not security. That's not my job, right? It's not my role to do this. And we heard a very similar statement coming from the Prime Minister, who is responsible for national security. I don't expect the Prime Minister to pick up a handcuff, to go to handcuff somebody, or to pick up a gun, to go to, do the duties of a police officer. But I'm making a fundamental point that the leadership that is provided or is expected at that level is paramount. It is most important. The policy directives must come from the highest level, right? And so I'll just give an example. We are seeing some very interesting things happening within the Royal Grenada Police Force. Some, there's no other definition that fits it except victimization. So you can search the whole dictionary. There's no other word that would be relevant to describe the activity than victimization. And so if an officer feels victimized, the question is, how does that affect performance? So there are some persons, based on their personality, based on their character, based on their passion, it may have very little effect,
Um,
right?
as
And there
you
are some people who would not even want to wake up to go to work.
definitely, and as you say that, if that is not addressed, how you as an experienced person see that playing out?
And that is why I chose to call. I chose to call because I believe that I can see where we are heading. And not that I'm a prophet, but because you look at other islands, other countries around us, right? And you must be able to put one and one together and get two and know what is going to happen if we don't address this immediately. So, number one, the fear of crime. What are the implications? What are the expected activities when there is fear of crime? How will that affect businesses that want to close earlier
Okay.
because they're afraid that they're probably going to be stuck with some gun playing off late in the night? What about people? And we're looking at the economic activities there now. What about the people who choose not to go to certain places or do certain things or participate in certain business activities because of the fear, right? And so this ought not to be taken lightly. There are economic implications, right? There are social implications. Somebody said to me recently, walking through the street and looking at certain activities just on one street, they became very fearful of where we are heading. I want to say in a very hopeful way, in a very optimistic way. I don't believe all is lost. I don't believe that we cannot turn things around, but it requires the leadership to do so. It requires people who understand that we have a situation, would accept that we have a situation, and would be prepared to do something about it. But let us look at it from another angle in terms of the questions that you asked. So when you have a situation where criminals, persons involved in lawless activities, feel very comfortable and feel that the conditions are enabling for the activity, what do you have? If persons can sit, so just as the police is supposed to be strategizing, is the same way you have people who are not lawful are sitting and strategizing. They probably might be ahead of the police force. I
Yes,
don't know,
in some
right?
cases,
So they
yes.
would sit and strategize, and they would look at what is happening. Police officers are being trained in 3 weeks. Do they have the competencies? Do they have the skills? Are they walking about not even being sure how to apply certain measures, right, in a real situation? So, do they feel empowered because of a policy directive, a policy position that we should be training police officers for 3 weeks? Are the criminals looking on and realizing that qualified police officers are leaving in large numbers? And are they concluding, logically so, that, hey, the force is being weakened? Are they looking on and probably analyzing to say, well, the replacement cannot adequately compensate for the loss, so hey, let's increase our activities over there? Now, there must be a level of confidence that people feel to do certain things. And I am fearful that what we see rolling out, what we see happening, the absence of a proper strategic plan, and we say, as an opposition, look, there was an old strategic plan. It may not be totally relevant, absolutely relevant to 2024, but hey, pull it out, tweak it, do something to make it even more relevant. We're talking about weeks and months that ordinary Grenadians are asking, what is the strategy? And don't tell me the strategy is a secret because that is nonsense, right? There must be aspects of the strategy that every single Grenadian ought to know about. Because if you're talking a strategy, it must be across sectors.
And
And so
he
the
must have an
home must know
expectation of
what
the
is their
people too.
role. Of course, the businesses must know their role. Trade unions must know their role, right? Every sector. But look at another angle of that. And I almost said health sector, and it scared the life out of me because in our current situation, do we have the infrastructure and the structure ready to deal with the fallout of the current situation, to deal with the further deterioration of the current situation? And that is why I'm saying every sector is going to be affected. And when
MP,
every
before,
sector is affected on top of our current situation, what we would have is not a
what what
crisis, we
what
already
what
have
would
a
be your
crisis.
recommendations?
I would say this, and number one, I still very much believe in miracles. I still believe in miracles.
We serve our
So I
reason God.
believe, I believe that this is a situation where somebody must be able to say, look, we don't have all that it takes. And we need another intervention that might not be physical and to engage our churches for a more direct role in this situation. A begging of the churches to get out of the four walls of the church and go on the block. That should be a conversation, right? And a strategic conversation. Number two, there must be an urgent, deliberate, intentional effort to address the real issues that are so glaring in the Royal Grenada Police Force, right? As I said about a week ago, I mean, we thank God for all the police officers of this country who are risking their lives every day to help keep us safe. But come on, this is a crisis situation. If we need them, it's like a battle. Man, you don't want all your soldiers to be tired and dead before the battle could be finished, right? And so we need to make sure that in this situation we are taking certain steps. And don't tell me about something should have been done 2 years ago. 2 years is enough time that certain things could have been put in place to ensure that we can move swiftly on from this. So let's stop the blaming. Let us just come together, admit we have a problem, work together to address the particular problem. So we need to look at the human resource issues within the police force, whether it's victimization, whether it be deployment, strategies that need to be improved, whether it be increased. I said it before. Let's go and beg some people to come back. Let's call Carl Cater and say, look, man, we know it's quite a while you've been out of the police force, but we have a crisis situation. We need some men who can help make a difference, who can help to motivate these young people that we've brought in. We need some mentors to support them. Come back 1 year, give us 1 year, right? This is what we're offering you to come back, a package for 1 year. We need to do something. And that might be a dumb idea in the head of some person. Well, of course, let's treat it as that and come up with something better, right? Then we need, at the highest possible level, to lead an initiative of direct engagement with young people who can be considered youth in conflict with the law. And we actually had a program, that same name, some many years ago. I'm saying it don't have to be that name, but it can be something else. There was another program of direct engagement that we call Badness Out of Style. The young guys, they loved the name, just the name. And there was this song that went with it. They loved it, right? And I'm saying it don't have to be that. Don't even take my stupid suggestion. But let's come up with something that would engage these guys directly. And It's amazing what direct engagement does. 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? I believe 2 days ago, Thursday, I was in Grenville speaking to some young, just standing right there, speaking to a group of young guys. Hanks and those guys stand up right in front of Gibbons Pharmacy there. And while speaking to them, one of them looked at me and he said, Mister, somebody chop you? And I said to him, no, 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 I did a surgery on my hand because the sky is very visible, right? And I mean, the million of questions that started to come, you know, listen, all I want to say really saying this is that our young people are not bad. These guys that we sometimes push in the corner, we call them all sorts of names, we think the worst of them. They're not bad guys. What they want people who genuinely care, demonstrate care for them, and they want to be engaged. They want to speak about their problems. They want to speak about the issues they face. They even want to speak about the issues that confronted them so long ago that may have caused them to make bad decisions. And then when they make a bad decision, they get branded and labeled. And so they decide, well, it doesn't make sense. Let me keep doing bad things, right? I'm saying there need to be a special initiative to reach out to these young people, identify them, reach out to them, and engage them in a way that can bring the kind of desired results. So that policy, again, whether short term, medium term, long term, can also determine some of those singular activities. And I really just want to make this point, Carl, the question that you first asked, leadership, 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 leadership. Without leadership, you're going to find yourself just sitting top in mud. And I'm extremely concerned. We cannot have an attitude, well, it's in St. Vincent, well, it's in St. Lucia, so eventually Grenada would be an unsafe place. No, we cannot adopt that posture. We must have a posture that we have always been a very safe place. We are known worldwide to be safe, and we are going to do absolutely nothing to change that. We're going to accept nothing that is going to change the image of Grenada. There will be a zero tolerance for anything that is going to spoil our reputation as a safe, peaceful haven within the Caribbean, even among places where people are afraid to go. That's the posture we need to have. And the posture must also say we are going to engage every single sector of this society to ensure that we achieve that. From the smallest child in the school, we are going to launch a campaign to say we are not spoiling the image of our country. We want to keep it safe. Just as you say, we went around the school and promoted the independence song, and we get all the children singing, and we get them very involved, and we say, take pictures, take videos of children singing the song, send it to the national office. That's an energy, man. Let us put it into ensuring that we do not spoil the reputation of this country. Let us not sit back. Let us not relax on it. Let us do things that are intentional to address the situation. We are committed as an opposition to be part of the process. We are not just identifying the problem. We recommending solutions. We are expressing the interest to be involved in the solution. But I always like to say, while we wait for those who lead to take action and to lead from in front, in the back, we are going to do what we can in our capacities, in our ability, based on our resources, to help. But that by itself is not going to make the kind of dent that we need to make. So I want to appeal to the police officers out there, every single one of them, and to say, first of all, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Do not give up hope. If you give up hope, crap or smoke with pipe. Listen to me.
MP.
If police officers decide to strike now, crap or smoke with pipe.
MP,
So
you touched on something there, and I just want you to develop a little bit. Social stability. And I'm asking this question against the backdrop of the last government, which you was a part of, and the social safety net programs. Now, the social safety net program, in my view, is like a lighthouse. You might not know how much people is saved, but when you don't have it, you know it's a problem. And because of the doing away with mostly all the social safety net program, social instability lead to the conduct we see now. No respect. People feel they could take people things and so on. I just wanted to speak a bit on that.
No, well, I mean, that's a theory proven over and over again, you know. So what you just said there is not just a simple thing. That's a fact, right? There's a direct correlation, for example, between increase in poverty and increase in crime, right? So we don't even have to debate that and if that is NMP and that is NDC. No, no, no. This is a worldwide, internationally accepted principle or theory that has been expressed by the current Royal Grenada Police Force leadership. And they use it to say, hey, we alone can't fix this thing. Policymakers must also intervene from a social perspective. So there's great merit in what you just said. But I want to just, before expanding on the social aspect of it, you said something that actually brought back August 2022 to my mind, or was it 2021, whenever. But I want to, and I made a statement in a press conference then, and it's actually all coming back to me right now. As Minister for Education, I made the point that when we engage children in rebellious activities as adults, we will one day reap the fruit of our labor. And I was referring then to how we were actually encouraging children to break the law during that period when government says no activities because of the crisis we had then, the COVID situation, and that coming together. I mean, people were mustering up children to play jab jam.
Yeah, placards and all things.
Man, you telling me? Now, the point I'm making here is that children, young people, there's a day when these things we encourage, these things we speak. So when you curse your prime minister and call the prime minister in certain names and you do it from a certain level, right? Absolutely no respect. And you expect children to not respond. So, I mean, you expect certain things, but I'm saying let's not give up hope. We could reverse it, right? So, this kind of disrespect that we saw over a period of time encourage, right? So, the government said do A, and another group of people say, no, don't do A, do B. The government say, let us go to Queen's Park, come together as one people. Another group of people say, no, 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 don't go there. Go to Camahan Park, right? Remember, children don't only learn from what we tell them. People don't only learn from what we tell them. So we got to be careful. This is an important point. But going back to the social issue. Now, what has happened since July 2020? To now as it relates to an attack on people who are in need of social support, it is heart-wrenching to say the least. And quite obviously, as I said, it is going to have an effect. It is going to have an effect on the ground as it relates to crime. When I said this on a program some time ago, someone made the point, well, what, because you poll, does that mean that you're going to commit? And the point is, that theory may not apply to every single person 100%, but the 10% or the 5% or the 1% even that it might apply to would now affect all of us. So it matters that we do everything to prevent those issues from happening. So there are some people who are going to say, I'm out of a job, but I'm positive. I trust God. He's going to provide another job. And I'm going to go out every day and look for one. Yes, we do have people like that. And I would encourage people to to think that way. But unfortunately, we do have people who would never think that way. And so it means that when you take a job from them, what you might be encouraging is that they get into activities that is socially unacceptable and that can lead to every single one of us being affected directly or indirectly, right? So there is a direct correlation, a dangerous one that is, and I am appealing to the administration. I understand the thinking, right? So the thinking is previous administration was spoiling people, providing handouts, and we no longer believe in handouts. We believe in handouts. No, while these horses starving, what's happening, right? We got to be careful with that mentality to just take from people the little that they have with some other plan that is probably going to materialize way down the road. Man, listen, we have to consider that if a man is hungry today, the lessons of fishing may take a year. What do you want him to do within that year? To
Yeah.
die?
Nah.
So you got to feed him while you teach him to fish during that period. And if some people had had to, right? I might not learn it as fast as you learn it. So it means that if you learn to fish within 6 months, by all means, go on and give him a boat and give him an engine and you go ahead while I take another lesson in fishing. And you gotta support me. That second lesson. Don't dump me because my head hard and I can't learn as fast as Bigway or Catherine or Devon. The point I'm making, that's government's responsibility to support those who need to be supported. I never forget, and you see, if you're not on the ground and you're not engaging and you're not understanding
Yeah.
people, compassionate empathy is going to be hard to have your policies in line with the reality of the situation. So I remember when I was just introduced in Financial Southeast, I remember the the um the first walkabout we did. A lady pulled me aside to say to me, she's a contractor in the bushing program, and how important it is for her to secure a contract in that program. And I never forget that story. I won't call her name, but I never, after 20 years, I remember that story like yesterday. Because you see, you have to feel what people feel, you have to understand
Yes.
what they say.
Yes.
Now, this is somebody over 60, so she could not have gone and access a job like everybody else, but she have a
Never.
family. She have to take care of herself. And she said everything, that's how she described it. She said everything I have in my house is the bushing, the TV, the stove, the fridge, the everything. She said, because every time I get a contract, she said, I go to the Syrian, I take this, I pay on that, I take that, I pay on that, right? But I've heard people who have no clue of the reality on the ground make statements like, what $300 could do. Well, you go on the ground and ask people who $300 worked for them. And note, my view on this minimum wage thing is that it should be even higher. So I have absolutely no objection, no issue with minimum wage. Neither does the party that I represent have. We don't, right? All we are saying is whatever measures you are taking, you must first seriously analyze the circumstances, the environment, right? The situation that you are in to determine when is the best time to introduce. And when I introduce it, if it's not the best time, but I must introduce, what other complementary actions must I take to ensure that I buffer the effects of such? And that is why, as I mentioned, minimum wage, you just have to go in Grenville and you walk around and ask persons, how many persons do you know would have lost their jobs since the introduction of minimum wage? How many persons have reduced arrangements? And I'll just give you one example of somebody from my own constituency, and I don't want to be too specific for you to guess who it is. So that businessman said to me, prior to the introduction of minimum wage, He hardly visited his main place of business. He was trying to do other things on the side to complement. Since the introduction of minimum wage, he has had to reduce the activities of some of his workers, and now he has to now fill in and play the role or part of the role that they would have played. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is not, well, we should not increase the minimum wage. But did we consider that some businesses were making $20 a day when they used to making $1,000 a day at the time that we did it? Did we look at what measure can we put to buffer the situation that these businesses were facing? Did we look at something that could have complemented the introduction or prerequisite for the introduction could have been A, B, C, or D that may not have had the harsh effect that it is having? So you have people literally going to employers and say, I know it is going to be breaking the law if I keep my old salary, but I don't want to go home. I have 5 children. I have 4 children. And if I have nothing, it's worse than having something that is below the minimum wage. People negotiating,
Yeah, let me give you a story, MP. I was walking through Grenville, and one of the business person called me by name, and I was really surprised. And he tell me, come. He tell me, watch. He's in a dilemma. Either he make some people go, or he ask them to remain to take what they're taking, and he hope they don't make a confusion with him. And he tell me, that was at 1 o'clock the day, and he say he don't sell more than $20 worth for the day.
When someone raised it with me, I had to be honest with him to say that this would now be an illegal activity that he'll be engaging in. But the reality is that there are some people who might be in certain situations that they are prepared. And that is the point I'm making, It's not that somebody doesn't know that something is wrong. They engage in it when they reach their back is against the wall, right? So a man might not want to be a criminal. A man might not want to rob, and he must never choose that as an option. But everybody is not thinking as me and you, right?
What MP, Black Stalin captures it, Black Stalin says sufferers don't care. All what they care is where the next food coming from.
Well, I mean, you have to be on the ground to understand that. You have to be on the ground to understand that. It's not something you understand from an office that is well AC'd and, you financially well off and everything is taken care of. You might find it very difficult to understand.
MP, you made a point earlier on about the security and a weak security. You give issues where we believe cause the security to be with the social safety net programs. But a weak security affects the agriculture industry. We depend so heavily on tourism, MP. And a weak security will mash up tourism, which in turn will mash up the economy.
Well, that is why I said every sector, literally every sector. And that is why we cannot discuss this subject protecting our color.
No, we can't colorize it.
Ought not to go into this conversation trying to make a party look good. So right now I'm not thinking NMP, I'm not thinking NDC.
You're thinking Grenada?
I'm thinking Grenada. And not just Grenada, I'll be very selfish in telling you I'm also thinking my children. Because I have children. My son, for example, and let me just use a very practical, selfish example. My second son is very passionate about basketball, Joshua. And Joshua wants to leave home like 6 o'clock to go on the court to play basketball. No, you think Emmeline's hair is not becoming very uncomfortable with this?
Yeah.
And that's the point I'm making. So this thing is not about NNP and NDC. It's about the reality of the situation that we face. Let me use another example, which is why I said to you, I'm not thinking, and I don't care about NNP in this conversation right now. My son, my last son, was walking in, the area in which I live, very safe, very quiet area. And he is walking in about 7 o'clock. It just started getting dark. It is very common from the time he started walking that he can drop from a bus or the road and walk into the yard. Well, that particular day, you know what happened? He had $5 in his hand. A man run up to him, grab the $5 from him, right? He can't tell who it is. He doesn't even know the person, and it's obviously not somebody that lives right or wrong there, right? Because he knows the neighbors. Now, the point I'm making, Emmeline here, the mother, is now uncomfortable with him dropping off from a bus after 6:30. So this is not about, and sometimes we have to stop being so defensive of party because that's going to take us to our grave if we continue like that. We have to think in the best interest of our country when we are talking about issues like crime, issues, gun violence, and all of those issues. It's not because you don't like a particular prime minister or you don't like, you know, saying that this administration should be the best at taking criticism. And they should have absolutely no problem with anybody for whatever intention criticizing it. You know why? Because they were the best, I believe, at attack, malicious attack, and criticism. And so the question is why so suddenly it's a problem when people raise genuine issues? Why is it such a problem when people speak? I mean, just speak, just share their opinions. And if only we can develop a greater level of tolerance for people's opinion. You may not agree with me, but that's okay. You may not share the same color as me. That's also okay. Could you imagine how boring it would be in a campaign if everybody supported NFP or everybody supporting NDC or everybody supporting ULP? Could you imagine how boring that campaign would be?
MP, I need to read this. Somebody messaged me. Good afternoon, bro. It is interesting that we have two MPs married to police officers, but only one is willing to show public solidarity with us at this trying time. Thank you for your support, MP Pierre. We shall not forget. And I'm only reading what the person write. I don't add nothing to it. You gone?
Okay. No, I'm still there. That's me when I'm considering if I should respond or not.
No, don't respond. I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay.
Now the one responder I want you to make an asking you publicly. With all that said, and you speak out leadership, are you willing to be part of the whole thing?
When you say the whole thing, what
Leadership to provide the type of leadership. Because come next election, we're going to need people like you. Not asking you that publicly because I want you to answer publicly.
Let me make this point.
I put you on the spot.
Well, I wouldn't say on the spot. When I took a decision to join the Parliament of Grenada, that was what it was initially. I was asked to serve as a senator in the Parliament of Grenada. It was a very tough decision because the government was basically leading this country on a 6-vote majority.
On a knife edge.
Right? At the time, I was a permanent public officer, and it meant that if I had to accept the request of the Prime Minister, I had to resign and to make a sacrifice to do so. I consider it one of the biggest sacrifices I've made thus far in my political life as it relates to decisions, right? And when I took that decision, it was for one simple reason. I love Grenada, Carriacou, and Martinique. And I felt that what I was doing at the time, even if I was making, in my opinion, a very serious contribution to the development of Grenada, I felt that this provided an opportunity to serve Grenada in a greater capacity. Where I sit right now, I can say this to you. I have absolutely, at this point, absolutely no reservation as it relates to helping the process of changing the trajectory on which this country is heading, and I'm prepared to serve in any capacity that's going to provide me an opportunity to do that. I am extremely concerned as to how quickly we are moving downwards, and there are some signs, some writings on the wall that says to me that leadership is extremely, urgently, critically needed to reverse the situation. And I, Emmeline Pierre, stand committed to provide whatever leadership that might be necessary at the opportune time, at the right time, to contribute to Grenada's development. Let me at the same time add a caveat here, because of course, based on what you've asked, I must make the point as it relates to leader, because you must go local before you go national, right?
Yeah.
And I want to make the point about leadership of the new national party. Now, at this time in the new national party, there, and I was asked this question in this direct sense, and which is why I want to address it to ensure there's no ambiguity. Um, the leadership of the new national party, currently, there's no vacancy for the leadership of the party as it relates to the political leader.
Okay.
There's a political leader that I totally, absolutely support at this stage, because one of the reasons I'll tell you at this point in time, in crisis, I believe he performs best. And we can just check back.
He never disappoints us.
Never, ever. And in this crisis situation, I believe his contribution is extremely valuable. His experience is very valuable. His knowledge is extremely valuable. And that is why I embrace and appreciate his leadership.
I accept that
At
too.
this time, I am totally confident in the leadership of the new national party as it prepares for governance of this country another time. At any time that his leadership position becomes vacant, I would be prepared to offer myself.
Okay. The people ask me that, eh? Somebody messaged me. The question I ask you, they messaged me to ask you that.
I've been getting the question a lot as well.
But Ms. Pierre, I think finally before you go, I have to ask your opinion on the whole question of the school feeding program. What is your view on what is presently going on now and what was there while you were Minister of Education? Can you just, give us an update on that?
Right. And you know where I'm going to start answering this question? I'm going to start from the point of saying, I really hope that we can find a way to address the situation in a meaningful way. And I'm quite prepared. If somebody calls me tomorrow and say, Ms. Pierre, we put a committee together and we are looking at ways of improving the school feeding program, would you be willing to recommend somebody or bodies, or would you be willing to be part of the conversation? I would say definitely. And I can think off my head of some people who have been helping the process and would be quite willing, right, to do so. So prior to the last question, and quite so many years back, the school feeding program has been a challenge, right? Feeding large numbers of students, accounting for resources, etc., 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 obviously would be a challenge anywhere. Now, what I can say today to you is that situation has deteriorated really badly, right? Now, prior to the election, there was a special committee on which the current Minister for Education was serving. I actually took responsibility to chair that committee because of the importance of this program, especially if you go back to the issue of social impact and the issue of the needs of people. And that committee was actually coming up with a protocol that would guide the future of the program and coming up with a policy position as it relates to distribution of supplies. At the time, you check with any honest person in the Ministry of Education at the time, one of the greatest concern was oversupply, right? One of the greatest concern was oversupply. And we were literally looking, and that does not mean that in some cases there may not have been a shortage, at the time. So I literally recall more than one case where schools were saying they did not have the storage capacity, right? I wouldn't lie to you. This was what the situation was before the last election. There's an absolute flip of the coin of what is happening right now. And I'm saying, let us address it. Now, it was a very strange strange move when the government said, let us remove the $1. I'm still trying to come to grips with what is the thinking behind it. Because you know what I know? That there are parents who were saying $1 is not enough. There are parents who are paying more than $1. There were teachers who were actually paying to be part of that same program. So I know for a fact the dollar is not the issue. And I'll tell you why I'm sure it's not the issue. Because there's no child who goes or who went to school, I don't know, I can't speak for now, I don't hold that position, but who went to school maybe before I was even a student, and they're in need, they're hungry, and a teacher would not do something to address the problem. It is just the nature of teachers and principals in school. So children who could not afford went to school and they were fed not just in the lunch program, but I know students all their lives. I'm sure some of them are listening and they're adults now and they would tell you all their lives they never paid in the school feeding program because their parents could not afford. So that was a policy position. That was a policy position. But there was a contribution. I mean, what can $1 do really in terms of a meal? But it was a contribution. And let me tell you how important that contribution is right now. You ask principals, and some of them will tell you, if not for that contribution, they can't buy chicken to feed the children. So when that contribution does not come in, well, they have to turn to some alternatives. Hopefully not porridge, as some people have been served, right? The point is, the point is, there has been a turn in the situation, and that's why I mentioned earlier the subject of timing. So at a time when, right, so I don't argue people's policy from that perspective, All I say is explain to me what you're trying to achieve. Explain to me what you're doing. I might just buy in and support you. I may just say it's a great idea, a great policy. But at a time when principals are saying to you they don't have resources to feed the children, at a time when some principals are saying to you they're making bread or they're buying bread to feed the children for lunch, at that time you choose to say nobody should pay $1. And when principals did not enforce the policy because they just could not provide for the children without the $1.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Education chooses to send a directive in writing to say with immediate effect, stop collecting the $1. I mean, come on. You put systems in place and then you could afford to make that policy decision and to take necessary action because you put a system in place. I am calling on this administration and I'm appealing to those who are in leadership positions that this $1 action is not a solution to improving the school feeding program. There are people who are dependent. There are some children. That is the most precious meal that they would have in a day. And if they don't get a hot meal in school, they don't get a hot meal for the day. Have we considered these children when we made whatever decision we made? I'm not saying that the government may well have a brilliant idea that is going to totally solve this situation. But what I'm saying, in the meanwhile, do we really want to encourage a child going without a hot meal for an entire day or an entire week because of a policy decision that the government has taken? No. What we want to do is maybe continue or maybe call for those who could afford. Some parents send money as donation to the program cause because they recognize it's also for them, for some, well, I believe many parents, it's not so much a need but a convenience.
Yeah.
Because there are some people who just don't have the time, for example, to prepare for their children to leave. If they work in St. George's or they work wherever, it takes them an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes to get there. So this is a convenience for some people. So for some it's a need, for some it's a convenience. And we are saying do not do anything to affect that. whatever you do should be immediately improving. And while the grand plan unfolds, right, make sure that you are not affecting anybody by the decision that has been made. I get very concerned when I get reports from parents, when I get reports from teachers, and when I get reports from persons who are engaged in this program, cooks, etc., etc. People could still call me, and I have to remind them, remember, I'm no longer the Minister for Education. They do call, and they're calling out of frustration sometimes. And they say, well, we know you're not a Minister for Education, but this is frustrating, right? At a recent meeting with principals, when principals attempted to express their views as it relates to how they're going to manage this situation, rather than giving hope and putting systems in place and announcing those systems, providing the necessary support, principals were asked to write their questions on a piece of paper and submit it. And this approach is becoming very common.
The
It's a
journalists.
frightening approach, though, and I hope it's not something that's sustained in any way. Because if we continue to take that approach when people want to talk and they want to express themselves, it's the same way you see people are bullied on Facebook when they speak, right? And that is why I don't read comments, because I protect my mental space with everything I have. So you could say whatever you do to me behind me.
I don't read comments too.
Right? Yeah. Now, if you want to disturb your mental space, read comments about serious, honest comment opinions that you have. So we have become a society where you're not supposed to have an opinion. You're not supposed to think or say anything different to what the policymakers say. And what is rather hypocritical about this, what is rather sad about this, is just 2 years ago, people were encouraging us to do that.
Yeah.
People were literally encouraging us to have a voice, have a say, speak out, don't take your death as a sheep. That's what we were encouraged to do 2 years ago. Unfortunately, now, and I love research. So I would challenge you to just identify a few people, pull what they said 2.5 years ago, and pull what they're saying now. That would make a really good
It will make very good
search in
reading.
terms of inconsistency in people's opinion on expression, freedom of expression. Great inconsistency on the subject of freedom of expression.
Okay. Well, MP Pierre, it was a pleasure having you with us this evening.
And I must do it again.
And you must always do it again. Okay? We thank
I
you
am
very
quite
much.
happy for that open invitation, and I definitely would make use of it. God bless you. I should see you and your listeners, and I really do pray that the messenger is not looked at and the message is considered. And as I said, I'm not here just talking for talking's sake. If there's anything that I can do to make a contribution to addressing the particular situations that I spoke of, you mentioned the issue of school feeding. I'm quite willing to help in any way that I can, be part of any discussion or conversation of how this can be done, how it can be improved, what were the challenges we faced, what were we doing. I suspect that if 2022 there was a process where we were coming up with a handbook for school feeding and a new policy, I mean, it didn't need more than about a month's work to be completed. So I don't know what may have happened in that almost 2 year period. But I'm just saying,
Transformation.
it's one thing to talk, but it's another thing to be prepared to make a contribution, whether it's a suggestion, whether it's a recommendation, and I'm more than prepared to do that.
Thank you again, and you have a wonderful evening.
Have a great evening.
All right, you take care and thanks.
All right, take care.
Igwe, I must say good afternoon to Mimi, Grant, and Wilma. How you people doing? Devon, that was a very, very deep conversation with the MP.
Very much so.
And the MPs telling us here she's ready, willing, and able to assist. Another chatter on the street, a police this time say, the NNP should name Nimrod Oliver as the shadow minister of national security and let him address us, because the official one has abandoned his post.
I support that, because in Nimrod Oliver you have experience and everything, qualification, and he's Grenadian. Let's take the call. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Yes, hello.
Listen to the telephone and not the radio.
Well spoken, the MP. He
Okay.
hit the cock on the bottle. Bye, love all you.
All right.
Devon, social poverty has a direct correlation with crime. Vanico, you don't agree with me on that, you see that. Crime have a direct effect on the economy. And if we don't get it in check, things are to happen. First advice to the Minister of National Security and the Prime Minister, make sure that the national security apparatus, that means you, the National Security Advisor, and the Commissioner start to be on talking terms. Right now, they don't talking. So the Prime Minister don't get no briefing, as I understand.
Directly from the Commissioner.
You don't get no briefing, so you don't know. So they say you go around and don't say nothing, maybe he didn't know.
Yeah, I feel you know.
Because he have to don't know for you to leave and go there, man.
Yeah,
You can't know and go.
Yeah. Yeah, or you have to be dumb.
but chatters
Or
on
you
the-
have to be dumb, you don't know.
Chatters on the street say the commissioner talking to him. When he see the commissioner phone number, that what chatters say, he asking why he calling me for. And chatters on the street say, the commissioner say, the National Security Advisor is not a constitutional post, so you don't talking to him.
No.
So he didn't shit out of him.
Yeah,
If at the head of national security you have a breakdown, we call a local, you know, them.
But you remember the last commissioner of
He
police.
needs to talk to him too.
Yes, Edwin Martin needs to talk to him too.
But here what happened? Because this present Prime Minister was in cabinet, in Parliament, and he say how the last Prime Minister called Whelan Thompson in Shenda and tell him he can't work with him. That's what big people do. If you can't work with him, you can't work with him. If you're running him out of the water and you can't work with him, you have to tell him you can't work with him.
You have to be
Not
honest
do
with him.
taking the phone call. Let's take it easy.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's call to make a comment on the demolition of the people on the sidewalk and the side of the road that have their little thing, doing their business, their trade. Isn't there a businessman also in the cabinet?
A lot of businessmen.
Yeah, businessman, yeah, man out of original ideas, yeah, man out to take goods on the put in the night, yeah, kind of man who agree them on thief, all kind of thing.
Okay. I know of one. Anyhow, the minister of I have to call him the demolition minister. The mischief
Which one?
The mischief one, the saltfish one.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
People used to buy saltfish from him to sell. The same people on the street, right?
Why they breaking down now?
Trading their little business. So when you demolish the thing, how they could come and buy saltfish from you again to sell? The shops on them used to buy just the same.
Well, he don't care because he just get a big loan from GDB, you know, so he could sustain himself.
Bueno. How long it go last? And next thing, the other businessmen and them, the stores, those Indian stores and all them stores are people, the same people that they demolished the thing, they used to go in there also and buy clothing and books, you know, exercise books, pencils, whatever it is for school children, they personally buy. How are they going to do that now again? So you see, these things they don't take into consideration. They think no people going to flock into the stores for the businessmen and they will make more money. Everybody have to live. And that is what they don't take into consideration.
They cater for only one set of people.
But and that is what, and it's only for the businessmen and them.
Yeah.
Those who have the stores and the retail shops and things, places, so that people could have gone there and buy. So now you can go and buy and trade. So you just have to come and buy for your household.
But you know, they made it clear to us in the budget before. They gave the businessmen, right, over $600 million in tax break. But on the other hand, what they did to the poor people was to put tax on water and on sugar.
And electricity.
And electricity.
Exactly. All of us feeling it. But I'm sorry for these people and them that they take off the things on the side of the road that they cannot walk. You understand? Because that is the only way they was, and it's an honest work they was doing.
More unemployment.
Not only those on the side of the wardens, what else do the environmental wardens, they making a lot of them do our work too.
Lord of mercy. It's all right.
All right.
They think they're making we eat the bread.
Time longer than twine.
They just now too.
Time will tell.
They have it coming.
All right.
That God is not asleep,
Yeah.
Okay.
Devon,
have a good evening, man.
I have a suggestion to the Prime Minister and the powers that be. You see just how they make all this big thing about the pins for independence, the brooch?
Yeah.
Have one against crime.
Yeah.
Do some brooches against crime.
Yeah.
So everybody go wait stickers and thing on vehicle and let me see. Because we giving them advice, and like a man tell me by you giving them too much advice. Bassi again Grenada advice.
But Grenada is our country.
Grenada bigger than green and yellow.
Yeah. These guys.
Let's take it easy.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Devan.
Hey, my brother.
Okay.
All right.
Devan Massacre agree. Devan, before the last election in June 2022, Grenada had a loving leader. A leader that was care, a leader that bring development to the people of Peter Martinique. A leader that stands strong as the wall of Jericho walls. But Devan, remember with Ivan, the COVID, Dr. Mitchell as the stewardship of the country at the time, and with his wonderful ministers with experience, they did not quit, they did not waver, but they stand strong, and they build back Grenada, Carriacou, Peter Martinique. They build back Grenada, Carriacou, Peter Martinique, where the people, even those the government right now, I remember they were saying that what Ivan did, it will take about 20 years to build back, and within 3 to 4 years, Grenada will build back better than it was before Ivan. That is a leader that is strong, a leader that solves problems. But when you have a leader right now, a leader that never stand up and face problem, always running away from problem, running away from problem. And you as a leader, let's say you're out of the country, and you hear something going on in the country, you tell yourself, no, I'm away, but you need to come back to Grenada and stand as a man and try to see what you could do, what you could do to help in the country. But you are away, you don't care about the country. So I ask myself a question: who sent him? I've said, yes, always the same. This prime minister is a fake prime minister. He don't care and he don't love the people. He only uses the people to get where he reach and where his minister wanted to reach, to help themselves and not to help the poor man of Greater Carriacou and Peter Martinique. By saying to the people of Greater Carriacou and Peter Martinique, this government making us suffer, it's making your life more miserable. But I always want you to remember something. Look at the contrast of the two leaders, Dr. Mitchell and this present Prime Minister. You could see the difference. Dr. Mitchell is a leader that wants to make sure the people of Greater Carriacou and Peter Martinique benefit from all the coming for the people of Greater Carriacou and Peter Martinique, not for some. As he said, if you have a cake should share for everybody to get a portion of the cake. And when the poor people benefit and have more money, the business people benefit. They benefit from it. But right now, what you are seeing, the business people benefiting from the poor people, because the little kaka that the poor man was working for, they take it away from them to enlarge the rich. What I want to say to the Grenadian people again, make sure, I will continue to say it, get your formal register, your friends, everyone, and speak to them. Let them know what is going on in the country, the hardship and the difficulties. Because what this government are doing, they are trying to get ourselves vote from the diaspora to come in and vote, to keep you in more and more in poverty. So then when the people vote and they go back, and any difficulties that here in the country, it don't affect them, but it affect you and me and you in the country. So I calling upon you, we the people going to compete mad. Make sure that we get ready, sir, and go out and vote. Encourage our children to vote and let them know the hardship and the difficulties what this government is doing to you and your family. So, Master Carl, you have a blessed after.
You know, Master Carl, I want to ask some question. What's up with GDB these days? Chatters on the street, I mean...
You have something to play for me, the Eagle.
Okay.
And you get into GDB.
Yes.
Beggy, mouth on ground, by you. And then you draw the correlation between GDB and what's going on.
And what exactly? Okay. So let's do that.
You could come and be parliamentarian? All kind of people go buy you?
Get you to walk in into the at all.
Which one you want?
The long one, get. Get to talk about all that thing, you know, all what I talk about. You
But he was driving at a point, which is, you have to serve the people. If you're hungry mouth, if you beggy, you could come and be parliamentarian. All kind of people go buy you because they know you're hungry mouth. So you see, Mr. Speaker, you're a doctor, you're a professional. That's the point. Because you and I are professionals, we can serve. And people can't buy us. We can serve.
And people can't buy us.
People can't buy us.
Let me take the call and we'll get into it.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon.
Yes, my friend.
Yes.
Yes.
We're talking low, so.
Yeah, fine.
I'm not talking low.
I hear you real low.
Me too.
Good afternoon. Devon?
Yes, good afternoon, my dear.
Oh, driving a nail on your head. I know the first time I hear, my parliamentary representative. Who is the parliamentary representative?
Mr. Lennox Andrews. Toes.
You win his seat?
Yes, he win his seat.
Okay.
But I hearing some bad things about him.
You have good news on him?
Right. Good news, eh?
Master Carl?
Hey.
Do you hear a listener tape stating that they go in like a loom and telling them they have to pay for the spot? No.
But they giving fellas millions to bring Joan down here.
You get that message?
I hear that. I have to do some deep diving into it.
Yeah, well, I get a clip. And that they didn't include the spot with the house. So right now they have to pay for spot and house. So I said, let me ask you to get that information.
No, well, I hear him talk, but I like to have a receipt for things. So when I get a receipt, I will deal with it.
There is a ledge that I get the tape stay that. So then I was asking if you get that message. So that is why I call and ask you if you get that message. Evelyn, thank you very much for your contribution. You are a lady of spoken always, and I like to hear you talk. Thumbs up, Miss Pierre. Thumbs up.
What about the health center? Nothing has been done yet?
At health center, the door fall now.
Well.
The door, half of the door fall. And Master Carl, who is that representative? That representative is from your representative? Is yours?
Which one?
Mr. The Ministry of Health.
No, that is St. Paul, Southeast St. George's.
Okay. What that was.
Mr. Telesford.
Doesn't matter how you beat your mouth, doesn't matter how you shout, doesn't matter how you bawl, doesn't matter how you cry. Nobody don't looking at you. What is the reason? Huh? All they say in beat your mouth. When I finish, I will stop.
They say we have a long time to beat remote.
Yes, and we have a long time to wait.
Bolo, good afternoon.
I just don't understand what's really going on in this little Grenada. This little Grenada, I tell Ali, go down right down in a hole, and I telling you, I don't know when he go come out in the hole. I want to know who is this good person who could tell themselves to take it out beside Dr. Mitchell. Only Dr. Mitchell to take it out in the hole. Nobody can come and tell me, them is the Prime Minister and they're taking it out in the hole. Because not where it is there. If you take a I am think to joking when you're joking, man, you could take it at the... Trust me. I'll have a blessed afternoon.
Okay, my dear. Yes, Master Carl.
Committee squad.
I want you to continue on the information that you were sharing concerning GDB.
We have more calls.
I'm very interested because I understand how.
Your calls?
Yeah.
Let's take the call. Good afternoon.
Good day.
Yes.
How are you?
Not too bad, my friend. Bro!
They know it's one time they making, you know. So they have to grab what they're getting now. Like, they have to grab what they're getting now, so they're taking money anyway, anyhow. But I show you this wrongs, a politician making a jail.
Somebody making a jail is wrongs.
Yeah, this wrongs, a politician making a jail. All right, thank you.
All right, my friend. You know, a politician of over 50, 60 years, well, 50 years and more, right, told me, he said, Romain, these guys really working hard for the one-term in shooting. I said, well, you know, that's a regular thing. He said, no, but seriously, they definitely working hard for that one term. Yeah, I mean, it's in the making.
But he was driving at a point, which is, you have to serve the people. If you're hungry mouth, if you beggy, you could come and be parliamentarian. All kind of people go buy you because they know you're hungry mouth. So you see, Mr. Speaker, you're a doctor, you're a professional. That's the point. Because you and I are professionals, we can serve, and people can't buy us.
Can't buy us?
We can serve with distinction. You could some...
And you know, MP did.
Devon, hold on, Devon. He say all what he say. But then he say, you and I are professionals.
Exactly.
Nobody can buy us, and then those who are going to buy be the table, you know.
Table knock.
So when he say, me and you is a professional, nobody can buy us. That means when nobody can buy us, you and me, that means people buy the rest.
And you looking at them, eh?
Hold on. You understand? So there we go now. Lennox and Jews.
Oops.
I want to ask you some questions.
Tread lightly on my MP, please.
The call coming hard. Let me take that call.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Master Carl.
Hey!
A long time I don't hear that voice, boy. Wow. That's a nice voice.
Carl,
What pull you out today?
Master Carl, I had to make the call.
Yes.
Master Carl, nothing that pulled me out. I'm there. I had to make the call. And I'm glad you play over the clip. Because I guess as much, even I myself, and other persons would have listened to that clip time and time again. And I guess the thing we grasp or what we take away from the clip is beggy, hungry mouth. But that struck me this evening that you speak about it. The PM is actually telling the speaker that it's two of them alone that are professionals.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said it's two of them alone. It's me and you that are the professionals.
The rest beggy.
And people cannot buy us. And I don't know what happened to the other members of his administration if they were not listening. But they gave him a resounding table knock.
Yes.
So in essence, Master Carl, he was telling all of them that they are hungry. We were just maybe looking at maybe one person. But in essence, you are telling all of them that they beggy, they hungry, they mouth on the ground, and anybody could buy them.
That's a disrespectful gentleman.
Massacre, you have no, Massacre, you have to play the tape again because and I was like, did he say that? He said to Mr. Speaker, me and you, the only professionals is me and you, he and the Speaker, and people cannot buy us. People cannot buy he and the Speaker. So who is he referring to now? I mean, when we first heard it, we were thinking about, well, he was referring to one person, I think. But listen to it again. All the other members, all the other MPs sit down there and listen to him saying that, and they give him a resounding table knock. Hey.
But listen to the thing now, my friend. Now, you see, I like to have receipts for anything I'm saying. You finished with the contribution?
Yeah, we're listening to you. I don't know if I could listen to you off air, no problem.
Yes. King James Version, Luke 6:45 there. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings food good. An evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. They van die not my words. Thus saith the Lord. Out of the abundance of the guy heart, he know who beggy, and who hungry mouth, and who is professional, and who they can buy. So Lennox and Jews. The people want to know. Because I write what they tell me to ask you, because they call me 3 o'clock this morning. Lennox, I don't want to say what they don't say.
But they have a right to call you too, because, that is my MP. They won't give me that information.
Lennox, did you get any money from GDB? They say, if so, Lennox, how much did you get? Lennox, and they say, if so, what was the purpose for getting the money? They say, Lennox, does it have anything to do with anybody going on story in Britain? They say, if so, give them the reason. And then come Lennox, they ask the big question, Were you one the PM referred to when he said, if you beggy,
you will get bought.
Or you beggy and what? And you're hungry mouth. So, Lennox, they want to know, if when you talk about, if you beggy, and you're hungry mouth, you could be politician, they could buy you.
Yeah.
So Lennox, we want to know if they buy you. We want to know if they buy us.
Mr. MP.
I want to know if it's they buy usness.
My parliamentary representative.
All kind of people go buy you?
But Lennox, they say, they're in discussion with a magistrate or ex-magistrate to take your position. I don't know. I only telling you what the people tell me. I don't know that. They tell me to ask that when I go on the radio. They're asking that, is it true that a ex-magistrate is being vetted to take you walk?
I live in
Are you and the ex-magistrate friends? I don't know. They haven't died your place. The floor is yours now.
But Sakal, that is news to me, right? I live in a constituency. I'm very active in the constituency, and things like that passing over my head, and I know him. Mr. Andrews, you have a lot to explain. You have a lot to explain because you, as a senior public servant, if the allegations are true, you should know better that GDB is off limits. I could understand with Laco and Andy, they fresh and they know nothing about these things and them. But you as a senior public servant, serving in the Ministry of Finance, have an idea of the laws and the rules governing the Grenada Development Bank. And so, boss, you have some explaining to do.
Get you another clip for me.
Which one?
With Lennox, so you see you know how to find money.
Well,
so all the time Lennox telling us he know where to find money.
He really know where to find
he know
money.
where to find money, Lennox. But you don't find Lennox saying real quiet.
Very much quiet. Telesford, Lennox, even the foreign affairs minister, very quiet. Yeah, and that's silence.
Somebody say play the clip again. Where they beating the table after he say only 2% they can buy it.
The long version.
Yeah.
The long version.
Yeah, somebody say
But
play.
he was driving at a point, which is, you have to serve the people. If you're hungry mouth, if you beggy, you could come and be parliamentarian. All kind of people go buy you because they know you're hungry mouth. So you see, Mr. Speaker, you're a doctor, you're a professional. That's the point. Because you and I are professionals, we can serve and people can't buy us. We can serve.
Why they wait? Only when the man see we could serve and nobody can buy us. After I done say, if you hungry mouth.
And you know,
and if you beggy.
Yeah, the question
they could buy you.
The question though to the Prime Minister.
So representative get buy?
I want to ask the Prime Minister that.
The government is...
Sorry.
Mr. Prime Minister, did Mr. Lennox Andrews got bought? And if so...
For how much?
For how much?
What was the gracious offer?
Because you see, I want to know, because he's my parliamentary representative, right? And if it's a trap always setting for him, you understand, to dirty him for somebody else to take his position, I want to know. I may not have vote for him, but he's my parliamentary representative. And we need to know.
Have it. Let me hear it.
Definitely let us have it.
You want to have it?
We want to know, we have it.
It is true, Mr. Speaker, that when we came into office, we met plenty money. Right? And the CES had plenty money.
CES.
The government has sought to.
Oh, we have to deal with this guy.
Yes, we have to deal with him, you know.
Play
him. So we gonna remember him.
With the People's Republic of China.
Ooh.
By retrofitting $4.5 million worth of fixtures in these units to lift the standard of the units. Instead of distributing an empty shell, we demonstrated as a responsible and caring government our partnership by investing another $4.5 million. The average cost of these cupboards per room is $13,000.
All right, call that again. The question I want to ask that man, what happened? They say since December they had to give the people the house?
Yes, since December the house is supposed to be distributed. There are serious problems with it based on my information. Persons already go through who could afford and they still can't get. You understand? We need to know, although you're not the Minister of Housing no more, but you set that ball. You start rolling that ball, Mr. Telesford. You are the one that was responsible. You are the line minister for taking back the houses from the poor and vulnerable. So responsibility though, moving away from you, you know. Rest assured about that.
We go take a small break. Yes.
You tell me candid, they too wicked, far too crooked. That is the frequent comment I hear. Too one-sided, underhanded, can't be trusted. This is the opinion, yes, yeah. For their own abuses, they keep making excuses. Housing crack up over. They unleash their lawyer, set up an inquiry just to get Kid Rowley. But they wouldn't sue the false paper screw. I don't need come close to tell them go. Hurry, pack up your bundle now. Stop fooling the people. The country taking and beating. So me plea are repeating. Go. They detrimental, could be lethal. Are you willing to take that chance? Much too seedy, they too greedy, eyes too beady. Honeymoon end before the romance. We expect corruption, but now without check or interruption. That half you might stuff the pocket, but not bracket by the pocket. From the constant comments, we get no recess. Before things fall apart and the riot starts. Even in chutney, I'll tell them go. Make it sooner than later. To protect the future, please. For the sake of we children and the next generation. Go. To safeguard our image. Before Griffith cause more damage. Like a dog with fleas. I don't want it knees. And I beg him go now. They try to stick me with me. They are more trick than Houdini. Streams turn into rivers, then into seas. That's why I sing it. Please, Mrs. Kamla. Take Munila and Sharma. Go now, please. Them and their minions, total villains, raking millions. Their slogan, we shall rise, it was so true. Tell John Public not to panic while them and they
You are placed on 3 months.
Swimming in a pool of dollars so blue. Like meat eating vulture, they neglect agriculture. Mega fans of phony, Mama Guy Caroni, Sweet Man Glenn and Sharma, came face to face with the karma. And Mill was awful, gone through it to pull. Don't need a big mouth to tell them go. Watch her and see they does follow now. Before we regret tomorrow, please. You're setting a bad example. Family values they trample. Go. It's only vice they desire. Now. Before the 5 years expire, like a dog with fleas, I don't want it knees. And I'm bleeding go now. Before we end in bankruptcy. Before they empty the treasury, streams turn into rivers, then into seas. Is why I'm bleeding go now. Immediately. And don't forget your AG go now, please. Love to quarrel, always oral, highly immoral. They let the good doctor starve to death. Used to court him, once support him, no road to point for him. But once in power, they quickly forget.
91.5 Real FM got you covered.
They tell me candid, they too wicked, far too crooked. That is the frequent comment I hear. Too one-sided, underhanded, can't be trusted. This is the opinion, ear to ear. For their own abuses, they keep making excuses.
The staff were there. They will be given contracts, at least, to have an instrument of appointment so that they are properly recorded in the system. Those who can be regularized as per available position as per PSC rules, that's going to happen. But the others would have to be given contracts until such time.
Yes, Igwe.
You have something to play for me, man.
You are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract. It is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law, then so...
So, Mr. Tellers, what see down there and breaking the law?
Yeah. Big and
Maybe someone the Prime Minister say, play that again for people to hear. Play what Mr. Tellers Ford say first. Because Mr. Tellers, hold on gate. Mr. Tellers Ford, you breaking the law based on what the Prime Minister saying. So we have lawbreakers then on. So play what Mr. Tellers Ford say.
The staff who were there, they will be given contracts, at least to have an instrument of appointment so that they are properly recorded in the system. Those who can be regularized as per available position as per PSC rules, that's going to happen. But the others would have to be given contracts until such time.
You are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract. It is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law, then so be it.
Devon.
Well,
listen to 2 clips.
Yes, well, illegality all around, you know. And Mr. Telesford, I don't know if he was conscious of what he was saying, right, in the press conference, but your Prime Minister, your leader, said it's illegal to have contracts 3, 6, 12 months, and so it is illegal. He was prepared to go to the High Court to make sure that contract given to workers is illegal. I mean, so what is their position now? Why are they still issuing contracts to workers? That's a false sense of security. I mean, that is, it's amazing. They keep tying up themselves over and over and over. And as Ms. Pierce said, timing.
Good afternoon, Shorty.
We have a call.
Why is Mr. Tellers Ford breaking the law?
Well, if his leader is breaking the law, he figure he could break it too.
No, like I tell you, we have the receipts. Because Tellers Ford say they give him contract. The Prime Minister say this thing is illegal and if you go take another High Court judgment. So get your act together. Let me tell the colleague.
Good afternoon.
Just on your volume a little bit. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yes, my friend.
Yeah, I said I was going to call back, but this time is something that I just overheard that you all commenting on it. You know, that was an election gimmick. You breaking the law if he has to take another high, so people fall for that. And we know for a fact that these men, especially the Prime Minister, he good and advocating a nice lie. Because he's a lawyer, he's lying as a lawyer. Real lies. And that is one of the gimmicks that a lot of us Grenadians fall for. You're breaking the law. Which law that say in Grenada that contract is not good? There is building contract. There is road contract. Which law? Which constitution? Which law in Grenada that said it's not good, it's not worthy if you're breaking it? Which law that say that? You cannot prove that. So when these men come and talk about who breaking law, they must point, the victim must point to themselves first that breaking the law. They break a number of laws in Grenada already to get people to support them. And that lie had to be a bigger lie and still continue to be more lie and more lie and more lie. So all of them ministers in government that run this government is telling lies to the foolish. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Well, we don't expect much from those politicians.
Where shame is absent, anything could happen. Devon, but Devon, I'm still going back. We have to address Lennox Andrew. Lennox, the people want to know if you get money from GDP. The people want to know how much you get from GDP. The people want to know the people want to know if you get money from GDP. And if so, they want to know how much they want. They want to know what was the purpose. They want to know about Inglaterra. They want to know if you get by. They want to know if you was the person the Prime Minister was referring to when he says, hungry mouth.
Falling apart. Well, he has to answer these questions.
Another question again and to challenge the Prime Minister. You see the one with the guns, I want that.
Gun crime.
Yeah.
Gun crime.
The responsibility of security, Prime Minister has. Right?
From the time I've been in office, I've been saying this. Not because I have premonition, Mr. Speaker, because it is clear the trend is obvious. Anybody who's reading the statistics on crime in the Caribbean will see that gun crime is a pandemic in the region, and that it was just going to be a matter of time before it reached our shores. That has nothing to do with the Prime Minister who holds the position of Minister of National Security. It has to do with...
Devon. So, the Prime Minister said that had nothing to do with it. And because he see that them gunmen and them immigrants are recognized, well, the Prime Minister is not in business. But he could do what we want.
Exactly.
You know, you could go in town right now and get a gun rent for a day.
I'm understanding that, you know.
For 100, you could get one rent for a week for 300.
300 a week?
So I don't know how the police
treating that.
But you see, the Prime Minister made that statement that it had nothing to do with him. And then we heard the chief cop saying that these things is above his pay grade.
And competence.
I mean, where are we? What are we doing? Up to this day, we have not heard our Prime Minister made a statement about the crime situation in our country. No respond. It's been what, almost 2 weeks now? Our Prime Minister has gone missing. Send out the alert.
I had a receipt here for 20 men who are lady work.
Jeez.
Look at the receipt right here. So Devon, after doing a little deep dive in, now you see I'm very sympathetic to the police because people will say maybe massacre by use a police steal. So
you can't help it.
So Devon, the night when the 3 men move, the most senior of the 3 police there was a man who had passed out in December last year.
When I say pass out, what do you mean?
Well, he went in the police station after a 2 weeks training. The most senior of the 3.
I was present.
Yes.
When the men
was also being charged for the night from midnight. You had 2 months service. And when you tell them about don't mash up the police force, when you tell them about them kind of things, they feeling how you are against them.
Lord God help us.
Lord. 2 months?
Added to the fact that there was a report or recommendation made to have the cell fixed.
Nothing was done.
Why is the commissioner? They talking this talk on them. And they ask him about the cell and he say he's satisfied. The cell being fixed. Monday. So the truth abideth not even in the commissioner about the situation. And the recommendation was made long before.
Where are we going? But I've always said it in the last couple of months that the stage is being set to radically, continue to mash up the police, the establishment of the police force. You have seen the signs. You have seen the attacks by the mouthpieces about you have only NNP police that's there and everything like that. So when you get rid of the NNP police, I guess it's only NDC police that will be there now. You see, these sort of attacks don't come in isolation.
No, Devon, let me tell you what's going on. I'll keep asking the police about the crime strategy. Because here one day, and the MP were called earlier and made mention of it. So they could dust it out and take the good parts and add to it. But they don't have the persons in headquarters who could do that. Because the two retirees they bring back and the others do good like Dami don't know. Now the media policy. What is the media policy of the RGPF? Because I'm out here to help them men and them. And I tell them for my country's sake, Devon, no sacrifice is too hard to make. What is the media policy of the RGPF? Because when the commissioner faced the media, Devon, the 3 P's should have been in his opening remarks. When I speak of the 3 P's, Devon, I simply mean pity for the 2 persons who we believe dead. You have to show some pity.
Of course.
Then you have to give praises for the people that are doing search and rescue and all them kind of thing on them. To give people confidence that the police force is doing everything in its power to alleviate the fear of crime on the citizenry. And they have to pledge that we will continue to keep the nation safe.
Of course.
Once they do this treating, John public understand these guys and them know what they're about. Yes. But nothing of that was done.
And one of the things though that I've been noticing, and we spoke about it, is again the attacks on the police officers. We have been seeing incidents, right? Continuous incidents of persons challenging police officers trying to do their duty.
Because the same set of people during the pandemic, they encourage the same set of people to don't worry the police.
Exactly, to break the law.
And the kind of song and them they singing, degrading the police, none of them don't come forward and say not to do that.
None.
As a matter of fact, they stretching out Mike in crowd and balling suing you.
Yeah.
The man say when he blast it, he could daughter say, Daddy, no. That's what they encourage. So now, Devon, and I must say this, we speak to inexperience. We speak to arrogance and lack of institutional knowledge. Lack of institutional knowledge, the Minister of National Security, like he don't know, he must be briefed daily on crime.
Yeah.
So, he don't talking with the commissioner, he asking why he calling me for, he don't know if it's crime he call him to tell him about. So he don't talking to the commissioner.
He listening to
the commissioner don't talking to the National Security Advisor, so they don't know what's happening. And if the National Security Advisor is not getting information to advise, he don't have a work, so why he working still? Then we talk about arrogance. They still cursing people when you ask questions. It was so enlightening to me that one of the journalists who the Prime Minister mentioned in the campaign, how NNP afraid to go and talk to that person for scrutiny. Miss Kalistra, he afraid Miss Kalistra now. Because Miss Kalistra publicly say she begging. She cut on her trousers to get an interview with him in Nuggets.
She beggy too then?
Then she says they say to send in questions. I don't know what he afraid of. When he talk about put him under scrutiny, you know. And then the inexperience. And let me talk to inexperience, you know. Ralph Gonzalez was in Dubai. Same time with him. Same time he and Ralph and him in Dubai together. Deacon Mitchell.
Yeah.
And then he had some shooting in St. Vincent.
Yeah.
Ralph go outside and do a live.
That's leadership.
To assure the people
that he's there with them.
That he's there and the police force will do everything in its power.
So you mean as he's not in St. Vincent, he do alive?
He do alive. He didn't go and hide like that one.
Mm-hmm.
He good friend. This one good friend. In St. Kitts. What kind of some Dr. Jew?
Yeah.
The man had to marry to some wedding, you know. And thing happen. He leave the wedding and go and make statement to a lady fears of the people.
Leadership.
This one don't say nothing.
Leadership.
And people who claim to have sense in Grenada, you know, and claim to be bright people, saying they don't see nothing in that.
And why I ask the question, right, about, again with leadership, the Prime Minister, Minister of National Security, in my view, is the head cop.
The chief cop.
The chief cop. Yet for all, when there are issues within the Royal Grenada Police Force, you as the chief cop is nowhere to be found. And yet for all, your supporters and others still saying that you have nothing to do with it. Boss, you is the head. You is the one that appointed the present commissioner of police and the hierarchy around him. You is the one. You is a head. So don't run when there is some deficiency or there is an issue to deal with, right? And then set up your supporters to come on the radio and talk a set of garbage about the Prime Minister had nothing to do with that and it's not his responsibility. Well, whose responsibility it is? You are the head of the home. You don't let the children run your home for you. Put on your foot. Well, I don't know if you have a foot anyways to put down. But do something, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Minister of National Security. Right? You have disappointed the people of Grenada for more than 2 weeks now. You have been absent. You're missing in action, Mr. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security. The country need that confidence, that voice to assure them that the men and women in the Royal Grenada Police Force will continue to do the excellent job that they have been doing with you as the leader and Minister of National Security at the helm. They need that confidence.
Devon, I need to ask some questions now. Because I'm here to help you. And by my questioning, so what is the operational approach and who heads the charge for capturing the escaped prisoner?
Wow.
Is SSU involved? But I don't believe they're really looking for that, man.
No. They hoping that.
And what is the expectation of the public?
They hoping it turn up.
But listen this. I talk all the strategic plan. And I chat on the street what no. Say Master Carl. And I go read it, you know. The strategic plan was sanctioned by Edwin Martin and Mr. Redhead is for 2021 to 2025.
Wow.
And it's still valid. The problem is that the High Command does not know how to implement the plan.
Call for help.
And their pride would not allow them to seek advice from Martin or Redhead. So they come up with some strategic pillars that make no sense. Just cut and paste from the 2035 development plan.
Wow.
Even when Bush there, you remember George Bush? The day of the 9/11? Where he was?
In the air.
No, man, he wasn't in the air. He was in an elementary school addressing some little children. Hold on, we have to give information.
Somewhere in Texas, yeah.
And he cut it short.
Yeah, man. That had to go and deal with
to deal with the nation and to allay the fears. You know. He didn't say that had nothing to do with him. He didn't school children thing. You know.
That's leadership.
But that one saying that had nothing to do with him.
That's leadership.
That one thing in.
Master Carl, Igwe, and to all our listeners, my apologies, but I have to leave at this point in time.
Yes, Devon.
Yes, Devon.
Right, so,
you're safe.
have a blessed evening, everyone, and the discussions continue where we give you facts, All right, of the
so let's take
present
a short break
situation.
when we come back.
You tell me candid, they too wicked, far too crooked. That is the frequent comment I hear. Too one-sided, underhanded, can't be trusted. This is the opinion, yes, yeah. For their own abuses, they keep making excuses. Housing crack up over. They unleash their lawyer, set up an inquiry just to get Kid Rowley. But they wouldn't sue the false paper screw. I don't need to close to tell them go. Hurry, pack up your bundle now. Stop fooling the people. The country taking a beating. So me plea are repeating. Go. They're like a natural disaster. Now. 10 times worse than Ebola. Like a dog with fleas and tongue on their knees. And I'm begging, go now. And I did warn we. Prophesy to the country. Streets turn into rivers, then into seas. Is why I'm singing, go now. This is my humble petition. Announce the date for election. Go now, please. Accidental, detrimental, could be lethal. Are you willing to take that chance? Much too seedy, they too greedy, eyes too beady. Honeymoon end before the romance. We expect corruption.
Yes,
Igwe. What? Because I tell them, I give them a suggestion all, you know. For the crime thing, the same pins they do for independent do a lot so. Stickers and things for people to put on a bumper and thing and sensitize people.
That's good vibes.
Now I asking, what is the operational approach and who heads that operation to capture the escape man? Then I asking, is SSU part of the search and search for this escape man? Then I tell them a place they could they have to start to visit River Sally in St. Patrick's. And they might get some good news there. So I'm giving all you a lot of advice. Despite all those expose all those shortcomings, I'm still giving advice and I'm feeling so nice. Let's take the colleague.
Lost it. It's back. Hello?
The RRU, and you must give them the credit too. And you must give them the credit. The RRU working hard and them what, oh God, them what apprehended the first 3 guys. And they get away and go and kill the people as they say alleged. The RRU, give them the reward, okay? Thank you.
All right.
Okay. That person trying to trick us with the voice.
Yeah.
But the RRU and them walking.
They walking.
But how come they're not part of the searching for this prisoner? How come? Tell me how come. Igwe, the strategic plan that was sanctioned by Edwin Martin and Mr. Redhead is for 2021 to 2025, we're in 2024, and it's still valid. Don Mackenzie, Vanny Cohen, Randy Carnot, John Charles, Jasmine Prince, swallow all you damn pride and seek assistance to implement the plan and let the public know what is the expectations of the public and let the public know how does that come together with the national crime strategy objectives. So don't try to cut and paste from the pillars and the same plan for 2035. Don't try to cut and paste. There's a plan, put the plan in action. I'm giving all your advice. If I don't want to take it, that is all, yeah. A man say massacre the new wing of the hospital. Whose initiative was that? I say, I don't know, he say NNP. You see, and them boy and them say NNP don't do nothing.
The bus terminal that fall from the sky.
Yes.
The stadium that drop.
Yes.
Grenville bus stand that drop
yes.
too. Now them just come out in the sky and just land there, man.
They even disappoint the supporters right now, you know. You have any call there?
Nah.
Huh?
No.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on with my WhatsApp today.
Are the WhatsApp do working?
Yes, it's working, but I don't know. Oh, India.
Yes, he good.
I see there. WhatsApp. How's that turn it on? Hello.
Good afternoon again, Master Carl.
Here I go.
Master Carl, there are a lot of persons listening to that program now. Persons that have voted and supported the NDC. They are disappointed. But they're not coming out and say anything. You know what they're doing? They're telling persons who they know are NMP supporters, or they're giving messages to persons who they know would bring it to NMP supporters, and telling them, when you listen to the program, when I look at the program, say this and say that. So like they want to use NMP people as the mouthpiece. They don't talking. They don't say nothing. They don't come out and talk for themselves. They want to use us now as the mouthpiece. Well, it's not just the NDC person on the ground, as we would see, that is annoyed, that is frustrated, that is upset. Massacre, there are persons in the top, as you would say, echelon, that are unhappy. And Massacre, unhappy in all caps. They are unhappy. They're not pleased, but they wouldn't say anything. They're not saying anything. They want NMP supporters to speak on their behalf. But you know what? Old people say, how you make your bed is so you shall lie. So I want to wish all of them, lie down in all your bed and take a good sleep, Take a good rest. When time for to wake up, NMP people will wake all you up. Well, now lie down and take all your rest. That's how all you make all your bed. Don't use NMP people to come and speak for you. And for those who just send to say, well, I don't hear Miss Marilyn calling. I don't hear Miss Marilyn calling. I want Miss Marilyn calling. Don't call me name. Don't send nothing for me to see. Say it for yourself. All you have all the mouth. Old people say, let's sleep in, dog lie. I sleep in, don't wake me. I sleep in, don't wake me. Don't send no message for me because I would not be calling any program and deliver all the message. I'm going to meet all you face to face and deal with all you. Get it loud and clear. Thank you, Master Carl.
Give me the clip, Mr. Dick Mitchell again.
Beggy?
Yeah.
Driving at a point, which is, you have to serve the people. If you're hungry mouth, if you beggy, you could come and be parliamentarian. All kind of people go buy you because they know you're hungry mouth. So you see, Mr. Speaker, you're a doctor, you're a professional. That's the point. Because you and I are professionals, we can serve, and people can't buy us. We can serve with distinction.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Igwe.
Hey.
What's up?
ID.
Master Call.
Hey.
Well, listen to our program Friday night, And to my surprise, no scholar and Livingston Godfrey asked a question concerning the Commissioner of Police. And the city man answered the question the right way. Yeah, the city man answered the question the right way.
I'm here.
And then Risi was saying that the man is a man from Guav, leave him alone. And then she had another point to ask about the Prime Minister not saying anything. and sit down and say, well, when they kill Oscar Bartholomew St. David, which prime minister they come out and say anything, so the man have nothing to say? You know, when they get on so, the gas scholar, when you hear people talking about the thing, he asked what kind of stupid man they are commissioner of police. But he went back and he listened it, and the question, the way the man answered the question, that is the best way the man could do.
All right, brother.
Anyway,
Before you go, yes, I think the superintendent of police in St. Vincent, they ask him the same question, and he answered him.
Well, listen now, either over dummy, and if it's me, no, they ask you what jurisdiction. The best thing to say, either I don't answer the question, I have to tell the people that you can't determine where yet.
But he had three things he could have said. He could have said, one, when investigation leads to the point of the crime, if it is in territorial water of Grenada will do it. Because he had to know that. If he send me, he will do it. And once it leads to piracy in international waters, America could step in. He don't know nothing about, he don't doing himself no disservice by speaking that. And everybody know that. But then again, what is the media policy? Because he knew he was coming in a press brief and he knew questions would have been asked.
But then, within the press conference...
So he had to prepare himself. But you see, these fellas and them now, they giving advice by caller. So the fact that they could jump and take out Oscar Bartholomew, you see they're trying to defend already. And this situation has nothing to do with Oscar Bartholomew's situation.
Do something different, totally different.
Because in Oscar Bartholomew's position, what you have to call a coroner's inquest had to come first before people talk. This one is different. So it's not a parallel situation. Ralph Gonzalez was in Dubai together with Dickle Mitchell. And he had some shooting in St. Vincent and he go and make a live and send back.
Real Prime Minister.
The guy in St. Kitts Jew was in some wedding, married, what, and situation happened and he leave it and go and make a statement. But that the educated people they have in Grenada, I say no more.
We hate how we like one.
All right, brother.
How could them say, well, let me do even follow, let me go back at flying boards now. The man say he's above the pay grade and the competency. Admit to the people he's not competent for the job. How you defend a man and say he's not competent? What defense could you put forward and a man tell you, by I above me competence? You still, how you defending a man like that? Well, something had to be totally and not right. Yes, Igwe.
Scared at tongue.
And watch. Them fellas are them, eh? Like I tell them, I receipt for everything I just say Igwe. And he has sometimes that just doesn't say things. They talking about the Prime Minister was when Oscar Bartholomew dead. Ask them who was the Prime Minister that time. So if he didn't say nothing, and NDC have a track record of those saying nothing when things happen, Tillman Thomas was the Prime Minister and Oscar dead. So the last caller, call back them fellas and them on the program and tell them Tillman Thomas was the Prime Minister when Oscar died. So it brings the point, NDC never ready. All they try to hide Igwe.
Did already.
We are receipt for the thing, Igwe. When Oscar met his untimely death, Igwe, the Honorable Tillman Thomas was Prime Minister. So they try. You see now, everything they're trying to do is to put Kit Mitchell in it. But he doesn't do the research. He doesn't do the research. So they're trying to say nobody didn't say nothing with Oscar Bartholomew. Trying to say is Kit Mitchell. Tillman Thomas, what did he? So that's what NDC Prime Minister does. They don't care. Job don't care, because I want the paying job. You have something there? Job don't care. He know. Tillman Thomas was the Prime Minister and Oscar there. So all they trying to run, they can't make it. Igwe. And the media policy, Igwe, of the RGPF ought to be giving the nation formal information. So who tell them he answered the question? They damn lie. Because he, as the commissioner, has to give the nation formal information to calm their fears. So when he says he above the pay grade and competency, he doing a disservice to the nation. He having the nation in limbo. Because one, they fear, because you have a next prisoner outside, and two, this guy don't know what he's saying. So who tell them on radio, he answered the question right, don't know. And I want them to contradict me. Formal information have to be given in press conferences. So if you don't have, don't go. If you know you don't have information, not to go in press conference. Send out some writing as all let us do, and then call back tomorrow and say revoke. Real papi show. Let me take that call.
Hello on the WhatsApp.
Master Carl.
Hey.
When we had that killing of the young man in gun battle, the Honorable Prime Minister, along with other CARICOM leaders, I'm not to say CARICOM, other Caribbean leaders were in a meeting in a certain hotel in Grandance. The very said night of the shooting. Prime Minister, hold a briefing. The Prime Minister speak.
Who was the commissioner then?
He deemed it as an... Pardon me?
Who was the commissioner then?
Who was the commissioner then?
Yeah.
The commissioner then, if I remember clearly, it was my commissioner, Edwin Martin.
So if August down here to Mona, they can't tell me nothing about visa.
So he was briefed. He was briefed by Mr. Martin, as we know how the protocol goes, and he speak. He deemed it as an assassination. And since after things have been unfold, the only thing that is coming to mind at that time, he wanted to impress the other Caribbean leaders. That's just what he wanted to do. Something happened on his island. We are having a meeting on his island, so I have to lay aside the fears and make sure that make them feel that everything is okay, to the other. He did that the very same night at the hotel. Okay?
I know what. So even when Oscar there, they call
We have a difference there. We have a difference there in terms of commissioner briefing the PM, as we all know. As we all know, who briefs the commissioner, who briefs the prime minister, we know that. But everybody dancing to their own beat of their music.
Caller.
As it stands now.
Caller?
She's on the WhatsApp, so there's a delay.
Even when Oscar there, Tillman Thomas led a delegation to go by family, you know.
Yes, he
so
did.
I don't know what they're talking. Well, they don't know too. I don't believe in them. They don't know. That one was above the pay grade. Those what saying he right, that one was above the pay grade.
Master Carl, you see, because they deemed us as non-skull, dunce, and stupid. That's how they deemed us. That's how they deemed us. I remember Antonito saying that somebody posted something on Facebook as it relates to the 2 heads that were delivered at the Grenville police station, and they labeling Dr. Kit Mitchell. They labeling Dr. Kit Mitchell. Dr. Kit Mitchell speak as it relates to the 2 heads from an opposition standpoint. He spoke as an opposition standpoint. But these people and them, they're so wicked. They're so malicious. They're so vindictive. They're so mischievous. You don't know what word to describe it again. That everything that happens in their reign, in their time, they want to compare it to NMP and label Dr. Mitchell. When Antonio go, he get the document and he put it out for people to see. The person who posted it, in less than no time, they take it off because they were so confident that they had the truth. You understand? So they feel that everybody's stupid and everybody dons and nobody knows what took place, what went on before. Those, as they would say, those Johnny no come. Those that run around all about. And they hold on to NDC wow before they drowned. So they're trying to see how they could keep NDC boat afloat. Let them try their best. Let them try their best. Time is longer than twine. I'm waiting. As long as God give me life and birth, I'm waiting on them. Massacre, that is why our people who have the information and knows what happened, what transpired, then, so when they come with a nonsense now, we could come forward and say, that is it.
And
let somebody prove me wrong and say, as it relates to the shooting of Jonathan, I'm calling his name because he dead and gone already. Deacon didn't come out the very said night and speak about the killing. Because why? We had a commissioner in place, which is Mr. Edwin Martin. And Mr. Edwin Martin. That is my commissioner.
All right, caller.
Okay.
Caller. And the 2 heads the caller talk about the eagle before we go. That was on March 2nd, 2020, Tillman Thomas again, you know. We have received, but we just doesn't want to go in the archives. Let me take the call.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I heard about where Livingston and the other guy we got asking the question. Well, let me tell you something. In spite of what I thinking of with Livingston, these people, I think them are dumb people. They are dumb people. Because what I'm saying, this death that take place with the guy, it was in Mr. Tillman time. If they really understand what it is, and if they was taking the history serious, they would not even think about saying what they're saying, because all the problem is that they want to put it on Dr. Kit Mitchell. But tell them, I say, take the research further and take the maths book and the English book and sit down and learn to check the history proper. Because Dr. Kit wasn't in leadership at the time. He was the opposition leader. And Tillman Thomas was the prime minister at the time. And if something like that happened now, like the 2 people that get the death, we Grenadians should be mourning. We should be standing strong for what happened there, because it is a stain that we put on the people put on Grenada. And if they do these things, I feel it. They should feel it, even though the opposition leader feel it. The people that is in membership should be feeling it also. The thing is about it is not we alone. We have children, and as I say, if my child do that, he has to stand his penalty. Because remember, I would be hot for my child, but I would be hot for the people that get a death. So what's about the children behind it? What's about the family? We have to stand up and think about those things on it. We cannot only thinking about we children. We have to think about the other people that get their life gone through. We have to understand this Grenada is so beautiful. Everybody want to come in that country. But people making it difficult. You don't have red, you don't have green, you don't have yellow, you don't have what. Whatever person you support, that's up to you. But when come for those things, and then we should stand strong. We should stand firm and let our people know that when we wrong, we should take our wrong. When we right, let us take our right. And we have a lot of us out here that when we right, they feel we should not say nothing. And when we wrong, they want to compliment. I don't want no compliments when I'm wrong. When I'm right, give me my right. When I'm wrong, I don't want to hear one bloody shit. Give me my wrong when I'm wrong.
All right,
That's
Connor.
my point. Thank you.
Igwe, they just forcing me hand. When Oscar died, Tillman Thomas was Prime Minister. And you know who was the Commissioner of Police? The National Security Advisor to the William Thompson. So if they do stupidness then, if the people and them talking how they didn't do that, that's the same set of people we have heading security again.
Right now. Most stupidness.
And all he say them police and them, what he say? He said what was done, if it was, chatters say, I don't know. Anyway, let me go through that. You have a caller there? Igwe, me scared at him.
I'm scared land.
Yeah. The day after May Day, with the two heads. So, so when we speak here, we don't just come here and just tee off. We know what we're saying. So we're still saying the security plan for 2021 to 2025. Trevor Morris, good afternoon. You missing in action and fine, you have to link me. If somebody listen, tell Trevor Morris, Massacre say to link him. Because with all the security concerns are going on in the country, Trevor, the men should check you. With all these crimes. So Trevor, so ask them for me, because I find they might listen to you. Who head in the operation to recapture the prisoner? And is SSU a part of the operation? Or the operation gone there, they just hoping the prisoner walk back. That's how we go. Because the citizens are in fear. Because Igwe, fear of crime is worse than crime itself. Igwe, I have some information here. Let me check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 police going.
Last week?
I don't know when they go. They hiding and only 24. So if you lose 24 well-trained men.
Is that a problem?
24 well-trained men. Men with the rank, all kind of thing. What's going on, Mr. Mackenzie, in the police force? Because the king's son said they could go if they want to go.
Man, I'm judging color too much, man.
What's going on in the police force when you have 21 men walking out within a month? What's going on? I want a police to message me and tell me what's going on.
Maybe callers too.
No, I don't want them call.
You don't want them call?
No.
You don't want call?
And a police message me and say, the next man, another sergeant because he just retired. So like 22.
Well.
Boy, I'm scared of that tongue, eh? They say River Sally people scared. So police go and try to pick up some intelligence in River Sally, St. Patrick's.
Go and see what's going on up there.
I'm helping all you there. Go in River Sally and try to pick up some intelligence. That's what the people tell me to tell all you. I'm not the repository of every knowledge, but for my country's sake, no sacrifice is too hard for her to make Igwe. Igwe, the thing coming a kind of way now.
Grimy, I tell you.
That people taking out caller and to protect, I don't know what. So they're defending what ought not to be defended. If something wrong, it's damn wrong. Let me see what else I here. My experience being a police officer, Igwe.
Last 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, my experience being a police officer, anytime you see a police stand up in a place and you see something happening, and the police don't do nothing, or he don't say nothing, it means he don't know what to do. So the Prime Minister don't do nothing. He don't say nothing, he just don't know what to do. Inexperience and lack of institutional knowledge. Right there. Leadership by avoidance. So the plan don't know what to do. The silence of the present crime situation by the Prime Minister is deafening. You don't perform with distinction, Deacon. And I tell you about how Ralph and them treat with it, how Rowley and listen, the man run and lead the country and go in heads of government or whatsoever in Guyana. All them fellas, when they come up from Guyana, they had a press conference, not him, you know. So what he run from here, he still don't come and tell us why he running.
You know anything about a $5,000 reward thing?
I don't know about that.
I find that money too little bit. You have to put up more on that paper, man. That paper, they $5,000. They could make it more.
What they calling, not us?
No, they whoever it is calling, they call
They
it.
calling you wrong. Tell them the number.
4420175.
They're trying to reach us. They don't call you otherwise. So you go, the guy and don't tell us why he go. All other people, even when Dr. Rowley told you on Piaco, you had a press conference.
They call it right now,
Yes.
though. Hello, afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes.
I've been listening to the program for a while now, and I'm a young man, and I just want to say this, right? In this country, I think we are taking a lot of things and spinning it too much politically. In terms of the crime rate, and of course, you have the increasing gun violence and so on now. But if you look at social media, right, some of those things that have influence on the young population into actually influencing them into these violent crimes, right? We are playing the blame game into pointing at government and this person. But we as a population need to look at ourselves, especially from when we said that respect and guidance starts from the home. And then you find a lot of young children going to work every day, and you'll find a lot of high school students listening to all sorts of nonsense. And then in terms of communication, I mean, the radio stations, right, sometimes put out those musics, right, playing those music that are bad influence for those young persons, right? And these things subconsciously goes into their mind, and they feel that these things make them a man, right, especially targeting our young males. But we looking at pointing politically every single thing we make it. I'm just tired of it. We're making every single thing political in this country. But why not we stand up and say, look, let us do this, let us do this, let us do that for our community, instead of pointing at, okay, Tillman this or Deacon this or Kit Mitchell this and so on. We're making everything a political football, and we're not going anywhere with it in this country. We have a situation now. There is crime. For the past few years, right, under the NMT administration, I mean, there have been crimes. There is crimes now, right? But this political thing that, Tillman was in power then, and this was there, and this one is in power now, and it's crazy. But we as a community not saying anything, right? The police are doing as much as they can, right? Crimes has become so, I would say hybrid right now. All sorts of things are happening right now. Crime is not like before, right? But making everything political does not, it does not make sense. and it does not solve anything.
Okay, caller, may I respond?
Go ahead.
How you see you've been listening to this program for a while?
Yes, when I say a while, today.
You heard me ask about the crime strategy?
I think
You heard me ask what is the expectation of the public to this crime strategy? You heard me giving advice there's a crime strategy sitting somewhere in police headquarters from 2021 to 2025?
Yes.
You heard me say the authors of the crime strategy is still alive and they could check them?
But the thing
No. Listen to me, man. You say it is out political. But listen. I listen to you. Listen to me now. Every advice I gave was nothing to do with politics and was to do about Grenada.
I don't know
because I used to be a law enforcement officer, so I know. And I know the standard operating procedures lapse. So I was advising them what to do. I give them advice on to create operating procedures to guide escorting prisoners. I give genuine advice, non-political here. Because Grenada bigger than NNP and NDC. So if you're listening to me, you wouldn't say what you're saying. Yes, I have my political bias. Yes, I'm an NNP. But this situation now is bigger than NNP. It's bigger than NDC. That is why I'm giving advice freely. I'm giving advice on the media policy. Like when they go into the media, what is all the 3 Ps? Because I realize they lack in knowing how. So I'm here, and if they want to check me, they could check me and I'm giving them the same advice. And that nothing to do with politics. Ice Grenada Force. Ice Grenada Force. And then the rest. So when I come here, it's not about politics. Everybody know my political bias. But when I come here to deal with issues that affect the nation, I tell them, if they mash up the social stability, it will lead to crime. And you must have an appreciation that poverty is the breeding ground for crime. So when you mash up things that helps, you know you go be in crime. And yes, I just talk about the Prime Minister. Because if he could say he know about the statistics of guns and crime, and he could say he knows a matter of time for you to come here, and he do nothing, and he say that had nothing to do with him, and he's the Minister of National Security, he is accountable, so I must call him out. And that had nothing to do with politics. That about calling him out for you to do your work. And if he's the Minister of National Security and he don't talking with the Commissioner, so he cannot get briefing, and the Commissioner don't talking to the National Security Advisor, so no briefing, I have to call them out. That is not politics. I call them out to be honest and holding their foot to the fire. Because the Prime Minister and others went in Queen's Park and took the oath before God and man to serve and protect the people. And one of the top priority of the Prime Minister is to keep the king's peace and to protect the citizens of this country. So when things affect the citizens, like the gun crime, and he's saying that has nothing to do with him, I must talk to him. That has nothing to do with politics. That is telling him why you don't do your work. And if they're telling you they're not your work, they're lying for you. So the advice that them are giving is genuine advice, nothing to do with politics. You have some people I like and you have some that I don't like. And I'm entitled to my view. However, when it's for the nation thing, I tell them go back to Trevor Modest. Go back to Terry, Julian, All Dunbar, Reno. And them fellas them are giving them genuine advice. Make them consultants. And train them men and them because you have a brain drain in the RGPF. Look at the latest thing. 22 go. 22 well-trained men and you're telling me I'm talking about politics? That has nothing to do with politics, friend. That has to do, they have to listen. And not because they know how to support them politically, they must listen. They must listen. The people, the voice of the people is the voice of God. They have to listen to serve the nation. They can't serve one part. They can, when they have to go give information, going on a party program on Sunday, they have to face the media on GIS. So when you ask them about the Samoa agreement and they don't answer you and they're going on the party program, how much people listens? That's what is politics. And when we're talking about the pay and money and pay late and they go in on the program, on the political program on a Sunday and address it. That's what is politics. So I have to call them out. If I don't do that, the ancient of days wouldn't view me right. And history would not record me on the right side. So I understand what you're saying. I respect your opinion. But I have to say the record straight.
Yeah.
We have come to the end of the time.
I'll leave him lay run up in bricks.
No.
You run up in bricks.
To one-sided, underhanded, can't be trusted. This is the opinion, ear to ear.